Greeting and welcome to the Intensive Success Growth. I am your host, Nishant Sharma. Please give warm welcome to Anthony and Jill. Anthony and Jill is a educator and activist podcast, and so um, welcome to my show.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. We both do.
Yes, we do.
Okay, let me
And
start
I'm
with this.
Anthony.
Okay, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Okay, who should answer that, Jill?
Well, why don't you talk about our podcast and then I'll talk about
Yes.
the other
Okay.
things I do.
So with the podcast, uh, we've been doing a podcast for about 4 years
Yes.
now,
Yes.
and it's called I'm Right. But
I'm right.
I'm right.
I'm right.
I'm right. But originally, that wasn't the plan. Jill wanted to launch a podcast where she interviewed authors. And she asked me whether I can, find the podcast equipment, put it all together and get it ready for her. And I said, sure, I'll be happy to help you. But the thing was, I didn't know a thing about a podcast. I didn't know anything about a podcast. So I started asking Jill, so what exactly is a podcast? And she told me, I said, wait a minute. This is like radio? She said, yes. Well, I was a radio kid. I listened to the radio while I was growing up. So it was something I really enjoyed to do. So then I got an idea. I said, hey, well, maybe we should have a podcast together.
And I said, about what?
So I decided it should be about, and we decided together, but it was my idea, that we wanted to show people you can have a happy, healthy relationship, disagree with each other.
That's why it's called I'm Right.
I'm Right. And without coming to blows, with each other. No cussing or anything like that. No anger, going to bed angry. So she said, okay. And the other thing was we had noticed that whenever we go in public, we could be in a grocery store line or just walking through the aisles, and people just wanted to listen to our conversation. Just all the time it would happen to us. So I said, well, let's do that. We'll just have conversations on different topics that we disagree on and see how it comes out. But beyond that, we also, within our podcast, we try to show unity and love for everyone. So it doesn't matter what color they are, where they come from, what language they speak. We're all about unity and love. So we show that all throughout all of our episodes. And someone, a guest, actually, it doesn't even have to be one of our guests. There could be someone in the audience that there's something special that they're doing or something they're trying to accomplish. So whenever we spot someone like that, we try to support them, put them up on the stage, which is on Fireside, and, promote them and try to help them.
And that's where our sense of everyday activism comes into play. Every single day, we try to think of something we could do to help others. It often comes in our podcast, but it often comes in our work too. I was a professor for many years, and my mother was an educator, so that's probably why I became one too. And, to help students and help them navigate this world is quite an honor and a privilege, I believe. And then my sense of my writing and my editing started when I was 5. My mother and I moved to a national park, and every day, tourists who took a wrong turn found where we lived, and they would often want to take pictures of, they couldn't believe people lived in a national park. So in exchange for allowing them to take my picture, I would interview them and ask them why they were there, and then I would turn it into stories. So I just never lost that sense of asking questions that many toddlers do when they first learn how to talk. I never lost that curiosity.
Okay. So, what are the top three reasons why do people fail?
What are the top three reasons?
Why do people
That
fail?
someone fail.
Mm.
Oh,
That's a good question.
you want to go first on that one, Jill?
Yes, I would say that many people give up quickly, early, before they have a chance to master something. But I also want to say that I don't think of failures as failures unless you didn't learn from it. I just see it as a way of not doing it again, and you learn something. So if you don't learn anything, that's failing.
Yeah. And then quite often people fail because they don't start. I've worked for myself my entire life, sole proprietor, and people would come to me all the time. Well, how do I start a business, or how do I do this, or whatever it is they wanted to do? And the first thing I would say to them is just start. You have to start. I can give you all types of information of what you do once you get started and how you go about it, but you need to start. So what have you done so far?
And then
Nothing, they'll usually say. Well, start. And then I'll help them from there.
and
If,
I
if they start.
and I think a third reason is they're listening to neighbors. Not everyone has the same path. Not everyone, and I think we all kind of know dream killers. So it's up to you to know really what what you want to do and pursue it. So a lot of
Yeah.
people don't start because they listen to the naysayers.
Yes, and another thing, which Jill kind of brought up earlier, is that you cannot be afraid to fail. And that's why many people fail, because they're afraid of it. So, yeah, you can try something, do your best. Maybe it wasn't time for it, the business to take off. There's a million reasons why a business may not work out. And you might have the perfect business plan, and things just still don't work out. Life gets in the way and all of that. So, okay, that didn't work. What's next? And that's how I look at it.
Okay. So, what's your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Ooh, I guess I'll start with that. I had a small trucking business. I owned 6 trucks with drivers in each truck. And I tried to do everything by myself, tried to handle everything, and it nearly killed me. I ended up working, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. And at that point, I was working from home, but it nearly killed me. So I decided I need to shut this company down and downsize. And so I don't know if I really call that a failure. People would look at me and say, well, you had a lot of trucks. Now you only have one. Yeah, I only have one, but I'm making more money with one truck and me driving it than I was making when I had 6 trucks. So, yeah, I had to take a step back, and people would look at it as a failure, but in the long run, I came out on top. So, a failure you learn from and come out better than you were before.
And my biggest story like that is I've always been very good with resumes, and I decided to start a business where I created resumes for people. The problem was I really didn't like to create resumes for people. Because often I had clients didn't understand the whole goal of a resume is to get you an interview, but you have to do the rest and get yourself the job. So I had clients call me and like, I didn't get the job and it's your fault. And I was like, but did you get an interview? Yes. So what I learned from it was that in most businesses, you may have to be selective about who your clients are. So I realized I learned things about myself and the kind of what an ideal client really is for me. And so I learned to not start things I don't really like to do for other people. But I also learned how to really gauge an ideal client.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, what's your company motto?
Ooh, that's a good one, but I can answer it very quickly. Love, 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 love. We need to love one another.
And the same, and open, and always to have communication.
Yes.
Many times clients, the old adage that the customer is always right. Well, that's not true. That is just not true.
that is true. That's just not true.
So my model is also to listen well, and problem solve. I'm good with conflict management.
Okay. Who is your ideal client?
Well, um, I kind of, with what we do with the podcast and what I'm going to be doing in the future, I don't look at clients like clients. I look at them more just like people, just like me. They're not a dollar sign to me. They're someone I can work together with and to build each other up. So I don't want to just prosper for myself and Jill. I also want them to prosper. So I'm always trying to work together with someone so I can bring them up, they can help us, we can help each other.
And the same for me. My ideal client is one who is open with their communication and has a collaborative spirit. And also someone, a lot of people think they know what they're looking for, and maybe they don't. So I would hope that they're a good listener when I often repeat back what I hear them saying to see if that's right. And I need them to be honest and tell me if it's not, so that we could work together to achieve their goals and therefore mine.
That's a very good answer, Jill.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Okay. So, how do you find your ideal client?
Hmm.
Well, believe it or not, I've never advertised for clients. I have never advertised for clients. All of my clients come from word of mouth and referrals, every single one of them.
And on my side, I watch people very closely, very closely. I watch what they do and what they say. If they have something negative to say about someone because they're not from this country, they'll never be my client. They'll never be my client because they're not looking at someone moves to this country to make a better life for themselves as a person. They look at them like a criminal, and that's not right. So if they would treat someone else like that, one day they'll treat me like that. So I know that's not a client I want.
how do you deliver five-star client experience?
You better take that one, Jill.
Oh, you should start because
You
this was
should
all
take
your
that one.
idea.
You should take
You
that
should
one.
start because that was your idea.
Well, you know, it really goes back to loving people. I mean, truly loving people. I love people as if they're my and long lost cousins. Um, and that's kind of how I do it. Any funny feelings about them, I don't even go into trying to make them a client. Um, so the ones that have good hearts, actually, yeah, that's
And
about it.
and on Fireside, it's a community of creators. So we're always, well, I think I can answer for both of us in this regard. We're inspired by the people who show up to our, and we'll show up to theirs and just have conversations. And it sparks ideas, it sparks productivity, it sparks more creativity. So the Fireside experience for me is one of inspiration, because it truly is a communicators.
Yeah, I don't think on Fireside, well, I'll just speak for us. We don't look at the people we get involved with on a project as a client,
Right.
because we're
We're
really,
collaborators.
yes, we're collaborators there for each other. Quite often, I will watch other creators' shows, and I watch a lot of them. Um, so I watch their shows. They were about, everything, what they're doing, what they're saying, and then what they're missing. And once I can spot what they're missing, then I know, okay, I know where they need help, and I know how Jill and I can help them.
Right.
And in turn, helping them ends up helping us also.
And the interesting thing about that app, the Fireside app, is that you get real time feedback. You can talk to each other. It's a live audience. That can either talk directly to you or sound emojis and things like that. So I like the real time feedback that we get.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
What are you grateful for today?
Life, breathing, each other, family,
Yes,
friends, love.
yes,
We're
love.
surrounded by love.
I am grateful that I'm alive right now. Um, I'm 63 years old, and I'm happier than I've ever been in my whole life. I was depressed, clinically depressed for most of my life, and I'm not clinically depressed anymore. I have a lovely wife, lovely home, wonderful children and grandchildren. Every day I wake up, I'm grateful that I have these things. Um, and that's what I'm truly grateful for. And I'm so grateful for so many things. I'm grateful that I have new ideas every day. I'm grateful that I'm going to launch another podcast. I'm grateful that all of these wonderful things are happening. And I'm 63 years old. Life is still exciting. So that is what I'm grateful for.
And the same for me. As we said at the beginning, I'm 55. And during most of my career, I spent as a journalist, and I was angry the whole time, because I felt that I was invited into many newsrooms because I'm a Black woman, but no one wanted to hear my opinion, to hear my input, and I felt silenced. And sometimes I silenced myself as a result. But now, that I'm in an editing role, and the climate of the world has changed somewhat, people are willing to hear me. So I'm grateful that I found my voice again, and that I'm not afraid to speak up, and that people actually hear me. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I'm still learning. Tony and I sometimes joke that when we stop learning, that means we're dead.
Yeah.
I have to keep learning. That's right. Yeah.
Anthony, you are not 63-year young, and Jill, you are not 43-year young. You are 18-year young, and rest of your experience, like you have more than 40-year experience, and you have 33-year experience.
All right. I agree.
I agree. Thank you.
What advice you will give younger yourself?
Oh,
Ooh.
like
You know-
how much younger?
I have thought about that before. In my younger self, I would try not to let growing up in a dysfunctional household affect me as much as it did in the past. It made it hard for me to make good decisions. So I would have told my younger self, you know, I know it's a bad situation you're in with your parents, but if you see it affecting you in a negative way, just stop. Just stop yourself, calm down, take 10, whatever you need to do, walk away, whatever it is, and just stop. It wasn't my fault that my parents were the way they were, but how it affects me, I wish I had control of it when I was younger. So that's what I would tell my younger self.
And I would tell my younger self to follow those gut instincts. In my adulthood, I had a tendency to second guess those instincts. But now that I'm older, I understand that those are spot on, and that's what I should be doing. So I would tell my younger self to listen to my gut instincts.
Okay. So
Ooh.
what would you like to say about your guest experience on the show?
You ask phenomenal questions. Phenomenal questions. So it's been a great experience,
Yes.
and
Go ahead.
and provocative. Like it really is making me think. And I'm sure that long after this interview is over, that I will continue to think about what you asked about.
Yes, and I love what you're doing, because one, you're doing, I hope, your passion,
Yes.
which would be good. Yes. Oh, look, I'm hitting my own mic. Um, but it's all about what I was saying earlier. Just start, and I love that you just started. You decided this is what you wanted to do, and you did it, and you ask questions that you can ask anyone. These questions can apply to anyone, no matter, even if the person is homeless, these questions could apply to a homeless person. It can apply to a person that is here in the United States for the first time and trying to start a new life. The questions can apply to them also. So they're very good questions. I really did enjoy this.
Yes, me too. And I consider you an everyday activist because of this.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try. So what's your final word?
Oh, come on. You can guess my final word. Love, 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 love. That's several words, but it's the same word.
And mine is live. Don't be afraid to live your best life.
Okay. Thanks, Anthony and Jill, for sharing your wisdom with us. On the behalf of our community and team, we really appreciate you. Until the next time, all good wishes to you.
Oh, and thank you.
Thank you.
And good
Appreciate
wishes
it.
to you.
My pleasure.